Enhance your experience by becoming a supporting member. Gain access to unseen videos and video requests. 3-day free trial by visiting zionmembership.com. Chosen ones, empaths, you may or may not disagree with me on this one, right? But personally, I think being discarded is better for you from the narcissist involved in your life. Being discarded by the narcissist involved in your life is better for you, and here's why, right? The fact of the matter is, you possibly cared about this person. You generally cared. If it was a romantic relationship, friendship, family member, colleague, or associate, you generally had some affiliation with this individual, right? You probably had their well-being at your heart. You really cared about them. And the fact is, the reason why being discarded is better is because you actually get to see the full unmasking, right? Now, that's not to say that people that have cut narcissists off haven't been through psychological abuse, sometimes physical abuse. They've seen the bad side of them. But what I think occurs with a discard or a reverse discard is you actually see the full unmasking. What you've got to understand when you break it down is the narcissist involved in your life didn't really want their mask to slip. They didn't want it to slip. They didn't. They used to try and keep it firmly in place. Covert narcissists will masquerade through life with artificial light. They'll pretend to be into things that you're into. They'll masquerade with this artificial light. They try and hide all of their flaws. They try and hide what they truly are, right? But if you're in an extensive period of time involved with this narcissist in your life, then the further and further you go down the road with them is when they find it harder and harder to conceal and hide behind the mask. And you'll begin to see chinks in the mask. You'll begin to see streaks of behavior that's unnatural, this evil. You'll see bits of this, right? And some of you may have seen some signs of this and you cut them off. And if you've done that, good on you, right? Good on you. But what I think occurs, right, when you are the one who does the cutting off from the narcissist, is because you didn't actually see the full unmasking. I've made videos on this before, but you go through something called like remorse, right? Or dumper's remorse. If it's in a romantic relationship, it will be dumper's remorse. But you go through some type of remorse. Now, this remorse can happen straight away. It can happen further down the line, 6 months down the line. But it can happen that you start to feel remorseful when you're the one who done the cutting off. But the difference is about being discarded is initially when you're discarded, you may feel that you want to reconcile the relationship. You want to fix the relationship. The savior empath streak kicks in. You want to fix things. You want to make things okay. And you may have pursued that for some time, right? And it fell on deaf ears. They didn't want to hear it, right? The narcissist involved in your life didn't want to hear it. It fell on deaf ears. And it was irreconcilable, or whatever the word is, right? You couldn't reconcile them, right? And what will happen to the one who's been discarded is, the further along time goes, they'll actually start to change their mind state towards the narcissist. And they'll actually get closure from this experience. So even if they were discarded brutally, they were left with no closure, the further along time goes, you'll start to reach the point of indifference. You'll start to reach the point that you no longer care about the narcissist involved in your life, that you no longer want nothing to do with them, right? And it's often at this point in time, the narcissist who done the discarding will pop up with a Hoover, right? And that's why I'm saying to those of you, right, that it's better to be discarded, As hard as it is to understand, please try and understand what I'm saying. It's actually better because you get to see the full unmasking, because you go through the pain of trying to fix something, right? Because the empath has a savior empath streak. They like to fix and repair things. The narcissist knew this well about the empath. They knew they liked to fix things. That's why they broke the relationship apart. They knew the empath was going to be in servitude trying to fix things. They knew they were going to be like that, right? But you did get to see the full unmasking. And that's what not a lot of people who have done the cutting off. That's not to say, I'm not knocking the people who have done the cutting off. The people who have done the cutting off saw 1 or 2 things or 3 things or 10 things or 20 things. They saw a number of things and it was enough for them to draw a line in the sand. And that's great. But all I'm saying to you, though, is be careful. Be careful in your journey of healing. Be careful that you don't start feeling remorseful. Please press the like and the subscribe button. Help your brother out. It will take 2 seconds of your time. Thank you. Just be careful, right? That's all I'm saying. If you start feeling remorseful, right? If you start feeling guilt, it's not coming from a healthy place. It's coming from the negative frequencies. It's coming from the negative realm. That's where it's coming from, right? You don't have anything to feel guilty for. You don't have anything to feel remorseful about, right? If you do proceed with this remorse and these feelings of guilt and try and initiate contact with the narcissist involved in your life, they may well get back involved with you, but they're going to want revenge, right? It's a dangerous road to go down. They're going to want revenge. They've been inflicted narcissistic injuries, you know. They're going to want to get their payback, right? All I'm saying to you is a lot of the ones that were discarded, right? A lot of you that were discarded by the narcissist involved in your life have actually seen the worst of it all. Because when a narcissist does the discard, the mask comes off, completely off. There's no pottering about, there's no hiding. The mask comes completely off and it's a totally different person that you ever knew. It's someone completely different. And, you know, I did mention that sometimes the empath and the chosen one will still try to fix the relationship, but that's because they're in complete shock and devastation that they've bared witness to this transformation take place with someone who they thought they knew well, right? They've seen this whole transformation take place with the narcissist involved in their life. So all I'm saying to you is, if you are out there and you have been discarded, count the benefits of being discarded. You got to see it through till the end. You got to see the full unmasking. You're not going to have any remorse. You're not going to have anything to feel guilty for. You're not going to have anything to feel bad over. You saw it through till the bitter end. You were discarded. But what will happen is, when you're eventually at a point of healing, you've reached indifference, you no longer care, it's most likely that the narcissist is going to try and hoover you back. Right? Because they go through that whole thing. The same thing that I'm talking about the people that cut the narcissist off, that go through the remorse, they'll go through some kind of self-absorbed remorse and they'll miss the supply that they used to have, and they'll realize when they get back out there that they can't find a supply source that's as potent as what you offered, and they'll try and affiliate again. That's what often happens. You only have to read in the comment section to see testimonies from victims of narcissistic abuse that have been hoovered after decades even, right? This is what they'll try and do. They'll try and circulate back around, right? Hoping that you're still waiting for them on the shelf, so to speak. But look, just look at the positives, right? I'm not knocking anyone who's done the cutting off. You know, I take my hat off to you. If you've done the cutting off, you saw some you know, deranged behavior and you said that enough is enough, you know, my hat goes off to you, because a lot of victims of narcissistic abuse don't have it in them to do that. You know, they're so indoctrinated into the way of the narcissist relationship. You know, they don't do it, you know. And that's another thing. Being discarded is easier for you to deal with. It's actually easier for you to deal with. All you need to just get to the point, you're going to reach the point of indifference. When you get there, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. You won't care about the narcissist. You won't want anything to do with the narcissist. You're literally at the point of indifference. That is the point you want to reach for, right? So if this is fresh and this is just sounding like scrambled mumbo jumbo to you, just remember what I said about indifference. You're going to reach that point. At that time when you reach indifference, it's highly likely that the narcissist that was involved in your life will try to affiliate with you again. They'll make contact. They'll do a hoover. They'll try to set you back. It may set you back a couple of paces, but just get back on your journey. Cut them off. Door slam, bottom hold it shut. Have the final discard. And that's another thing that always happens, right? Even if you were discarded, you get the chance to have the final discard anyway, right? Because you've seen the full unmasking, you say enough is enough. You eventually get to have your revenge in some sort of way when you reject the hoover, right? The hoover will come and you reject the hoover, and that totally that totally makes it a different situation, because you're dealing with someone who discarded you. Now they're trying to contact you. They're phoning your phone. They're driving past your house. They're contacting you on social media. They're making some form of contact. They already made out that they wanted nothing to do with you. They discarded you brutally. And then you get to have the satisfaction of discarding them, right? So you go through the process of doing it psychologically. You discard them. You get to the point of indifference. You don't want nothing to do with them. And when the time arises that they try to reach out, because it's highly likely they're going to try to reach out, you cut them off again, right? But this is all I'm warning those that have done the cutting off, right? Don't think you made a mistake, right? I'll end on this note. For those who have done the cutting off, you know, you've done the right thing. There's no right way of going about this. All I'm trying to bring to the attention is of those that were discarded. I'm just trying to bring to the attention to them that there is some positives out there by being discarded. It's actually better in some ways to be discarded, because I'm saying to you, it's highly likely you're going to go through some remorse. You're going to go through some guilt. You're a genuine, authentic person, right? And you cutting the narcissist off, they play the victim very well. They know how to manipulate emotions. They probably done a lot of that at the time when you cut them off. This stuff can play in your mind and make you start feeling remorseful, make you start feeling guilty, right? So just beware of that. If that comes, know it's not coming from a healthy place, right? And please, please do not go in the direction of trying to re-affiliate with them, because they're going to want revenge. They've had narcissistic injuries inflicted on them, right? And they're going to want some payback for what you done to them, right? And that's not the only reason. Another reason is you just want nothing to do with narcissists in general, right? You don't want nothing to do with any narcissists that were involved in your life. You don't want anything to do with any narcissists around the globe or any future narcissists. You want nothing to do with these creatures, right? But for those of you that were discarded, look at the pros, right? There's some benefits that you got to see the full unmasking. You saw the complete shift. You saw the black in their eyes. You saw the evil that exists in them. You saw the full unmasking. And that is a great benefit, because that's your closure, right? And if you made attempts at trying to reconcile, naturally you were going to do that because you were in a position of hurt. You generally cared for this person or the person you thought they were. So you was trying your best to repair the situation because you have the savior empath streak within you, right? But eventually you nip that in the bud. You draw a line in the sand. You stopped pursuing them. You went on your healing journey. You're on your healing journey now. If you're at the point of indifference, you know what I'm talking about. If you're aiming for the point of indifference, keep heading towards indifference, where you no longer care who they're with, you no longer care what they're doing, you don't look at their social media, you literally don't give two shits about the narcissist that was involved in your life. You literally don't care about them, right? And it's at this time, I don't know if it's something to do with frequencies or something like this, but at this time, narcissists will end up reaching out to you, right? After they discarded you. You know, it could be a hi, how are you text or something like that. It could be something stupid, right? So just look at the positives, right? For being discarded. There's numerous positives. There's even more than I mentioned. There's so many benefits to being discarded. It's unreal. It's actually a better place for you to be. Because, and one of the, I just brought up the main reason is because you've got to see the full unmasking. It's a great benefit to see the full unmasking, right? Whereas the ones that done the cutting off, they didn't see the full unmasking. They may have seen a lot of it, but they didn't see the full unmasking. Because when a narcissist is in their element of going through a discard, they completely have devalued you. They don't want nothing to do with you in their minds at that time. So they have nothing to hide. And their real true persona comes to the forefront, right? And you see the nasty nature that exists within them. And that's all you need to see, right? That's the thing, is regardless if you were discarded, reverse discarded, or you done the cutting off because they become too toxic, if these parasites actually showed you who they was from day one, you would have never ever affiliated with them. And they know that, well, they know that themselves as well. That's why they pretend to be something they're not, right? That's why they pretend to be something they're not. Day in, day out, day after day, pretending to be something, masquerading with artificial light, you know, shining bright as a reflection of your light, you know. Day in and day out, they pretend to be something they're not. Because they know if they showed their true persona, these covert narcissists that are involved in your life, if they showed their true persona, you would have cut that. You would have wanted nothing to do with them, right? So that's what I say, right? Regardless, if you cut them off, my hat goes off to you. Well done. But please stay firm in your decision. Please don't go back. And for those that have been discarded, things will get easier through the healing journey. For all of you, things will get easier through the healing journey. But for those that have done the cutting off, you're going to have some remorse or some guilt that may occur at some point in time. It might be 6 months down the line. It's just going to pop up, right? Just understand, eliminate that. Remember, it's coming from the wrong. It's not coming from the right place. It's coming from the dark place. It's coming from the negative energy. You don't need to be on that frequency, thinking of guilt, thinking of remorse. You don't need to be thinking that way, right? So just know you saw enough, right? But for those that were discarded, you saw it all. You saw the full unmasking. And that is your closure. Seeing that parasite in their true fashion is your closure. And that's all you really need. Seeing the full unmasking, seeing the true persona come to the forefront, that's all you really need. Seeing the true evil that exists within them, that's all you need to get on with your life and go in the opposite direction of wherever they're going. So anyway, thank you for watching today. Please press the like and the subscribe button. If you'd like to donate to the channel, you can find the link in the description box. And if you'd like a one-to-one session with myself, you can also find the link in the description box. Currently, I've got a secondary channel, spiritual channel. Enhance your experience by becoming a supporting member. Gain access to unseen videos and video requests. 3-day free trial by visiting ZionMembership.com. So anyway, we'll be back with another video soon. Peace.